Hi, welcome to Rick Snyder's Washington, the part exclusively on YouTube where you get the premium content for free. But these are the longer stories that I like to tell. These are the ones people really like to hear. You can go over to Twitter, you can see my daily reports on different things, but this is where people like the good stuff. So, I'm going to talk about the Turk brothers today because people often ask me, who are your favorites covering the Redskins? It's too many for me to pick. It's just too many. But I did like the Turk brothers a lot, and that was Matt and Dan Turk. Matt was a punter for Washington for 5 years. It was a very good one, very good one. And he would later play for 5 other teams and be in the league through 2011. His brother Dan was 6 years older. He was an 85 draft fourth rounder with Pittsburgh, and he would later play for Tampa and Oakland. And then he decided it was near the end of his career, and as a deep snapper, he wanted to play with his little brother, Matty, as he would always call him, Matty. And those two were just, man, they were just clowns in the locker room. They would gang up on other people. They were tons of fun. I mean, Dan would walk by me in the hallway sometimes and just body nail me into a wall and brush by and not even look back and keep on walking. And it was just his way of saying, hey, what's up? And it hurt. I mean, he didn't want to flinch, and you'd yell at him, you big bully, quit it. But, it's just, it's an honor in a way for them to do stuff like that with you. Well, he came to Washington because he wanted to play with Matty. And so they were together, and man, these two would do some crazy antics. One time, Washington decided to take a train up to Philadelphia for a game. Everybody had to meet at Union Station. Well, being these Wisconsin boys, they have big trucks and all. And they drive the truck into Union Station. If you've ever done that in downtown, it's a big parking garage. They get wedged at one point in the parking garage. The truck was too tall. So they got to get on that train. So they just leave the truck wedged there. They called a third brother and said, hey, man, come get it. And if you ever wonder if this ever happens to you, let a lot of air out of your tires. You'll come down and you can get out. But they did crazy stuff like that. Dan opened a hot dog stand. He called it Dog Depot, a few miles from Redskin Park. I went over and wrote about it one day. He had a little entrepreneurship in him. Being from Wisconsin, they had good brats. Dan's wife worked it a lot. But, even Gus Farrat would go over there. And Gus would tell me sometimes, he goes, I'm just clearing tables to help out. And people are looking hard at me like, is that Gus Farrat cleaning tables? True, it must have been a really weird thing when you think about it. And so he would do that. They do all kinds of stuff. Of course, what people remember of Dan Turk most about was in 1999, the team makes the playoffs. They win the NFC East. They go down to Tampa, and there's a 51-yard field goal coming up for the win. Could they have made that field goal? Kind of iffy, to be honest. But it never happened because Dan missed the snap. I think it's the only one I ever saw Dan blow. But he muffed the snap, and the field goal never happened, and they lost the game. Okay, it's crazy downstairs when this is over. I'm waiting outside the locker room for Dan because I know he's got to come out to get to the buses. And he comes out, and he's like manic in his own world over this. And I run with him to the buses. The only one I got to talk to him. And he just kept mumbling about, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He wasn't in his own mind at this point because he knew what had happened. And actually, he got on the team bus to go catch a plane home and then decided to get off. And he actually walked the streets of Tampa for the whole night, and then caught a plane the next morning and come back on there. And his contract was up, and Dan Snyder likes to say he fired him, but his contract was actually up. And Matt Turks was, and Matt never played again for the team on it. So, it was a terrible ending, but wait, it gets worse, actually. About a month or so after the season, Dan is found to have cancer. And he never, the trainers and all told me later he would never let them touch him. He didn't do an exit interview because I suspect he knew what was going on, and he didn't want them to find out. They would have stopped him from playing. And it went quickly. And unfortunately, he died the night before the last game the next season. He died Christmas Eve, I believe, in 2000. At 38 years old, such a shame on something like that. It was testicular cancer, which is kind of even unusual for someone in that age. Usually get that in your early 20s. I don't know. So unfortunately, that really went bad. And there was a lot of talk, especially the widow, who said the team never tried to reach out and help, and that's not true at all. I know for a fact a bunch of them tried, and the wife just screened them all away. For why, I don't know, but I've heard the story many times from different people. So sadly enough, Dan passed away, and Matt went on to play Oswas. That's too bad, man. The Turk brothers were just so much fun. It's the kind of guys you live for in a way in the locker room. It wasn't always good, clean fun. They could do some mean things sometimes to people, but I'll always remember Dan and Matt very fondly. Okay, that's today's story. If I only had this written down somewhere. Oh yeah, I have it all in here. It's one of them. If you want to get a copy, it's on Amazon. You probably get one cheap for that, and I won't make any money off of it. It makes you feel better about that. So I have a lot of great stories to tell. Pizza and pigskin tours will come up this fall, I think. We're finally getting out of this pandemic. People, get that vaccine. We're on the edge of breaking this damn thing. And when it's safe, I'm going to have the pizza tours where I'm going to have like 8 to 10 people. I won't make it big because I want people to have like a personal relationship in this, 2-3 hours where we'll go to a couple of pizza places and eat a lot of pizza. You're paying for your own beer because you guys will break me. And maybe see a couple of sites because people like to talk about going on my tours. We'll pick a couple things out, but mostly pizza, and just you can ask whatever question you want, whatever topic, and I'll tell you about it. So I'm looking forward to that just as much as you are, believe me, on that. All right, I'm Rick Snyder for Rick Snyder's Washington here on YouTube, where the great stories really come out. Please subscribe, because it helps me a lot trying to get advertising dollars later on, and I would appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Or maybe not so soon. Come on, there he goes.